afternoon, barbecue to you fans and Gary Parker. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm great. I made it.
You made it barely in your busy philanthropy restaurant running life. That's right.
I feel I'm like the old days. I'm retired, right? But it seems like I've become unretired now.
Yeah, I don't think you're retired. That's like not a true statement in my opinion. So tell me what's going on. So today we want to talk about fan favorites and why you think they're favorites. I was just going to go through each of the meats and have you talk about, which ones you think are. I mean, we know all we hear about all day long is brisket, but what are the other ones that you think people are pretty crazy about, and why do you think that is? So I'm gonna share my screen, and
Okay.
we're gonna talk about this.
Well,
So,
before you do that, there's a question for you.
uh-huh.
Okay, so I've been talking about barbecue with you now with the Greater World for over a year,
Mm-hmm.
and we've talked and talked and talked about barbecue and how to make barbecue and all these kinds of things. So it's your turn, right? How do you cook a brisket?
Oh, you're gonna randomly interview me about how to cook a brisket?
Okay, how do you cook pork?
Well, brisket, you trim it up and you salt it down with pepper and salt, number 16, and you put it in low and slow at 200 from
Wow, that's good.
6 in the morning to 6 at night, and then you take it out and you let it rest, and then you serve it to your customers.
Look at that. Look at that.
Hey,
That's close enough. That's
yeah,
close enough for a surprise attack.
that's pretty good. That was a surprise attack. That was not very fair, but I did good. Pork, we have no idea other than I know burn ends are the burn end part of the brisket that you serve up
The burn
separately.
in part of the brisket.
Is it
It's
brisket?
it's off what we call the shark fin on top of the brisket, right? So rather than
There
throw
you
it
go.
away or make it hamburger, we dice it up to make burn ends. But that's not what the original burn in was. The original burn in started in Kansas City at one of the famous joints. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Hmm.
And the meat slicer, the guy at the butcher block, right? He would get to the end of a brisket and he'd have these little chunks left over, and it became a habit of the customers that were going through the line to ask for those tidbits. And so this is before anybody could even spell burn in, right?
Hmm.
And so
Same.
but that's how the name came about, because customers go, oh, those are so good, because they're different, they're a little jerky and really peppery and stuff, because it's the very edge, right? And then um, um, and so they would ask, oh, what is that? And the guy would say, well, it's a burn in. It's just the burnt end of the brisket. And so there you have the name. And that's how it started, because people figured out that, oh, look at that. You can make that into a product. That's easy to make, right? And because one thing about Pitmasters, we find something that the public likes, we will
Hmm.
find out a way to manufacture it every time, right? And,
Hmm.
and that's exactly how burnt ends were born.
Yeah, of course you do. You're
And,
always trying
and
to
that's a
figure out
fan
what they love.
and that's a fan favorite. So I got one down.
You do. Burn ends is definitely on the list. People are
Right?
freakazoid about burn ends. I didn't even understand what they were when I first met you and started talking to you about barbecue.
Yeah. Yeah. But what really makes them awesome, the way we make them, is, like I said, if you look at a brisket, and of course you got the flat, which is really lean, and you got the point that sits on top of the fat, or on top of the flat, and you got that big fat layer. Well, there's a section of the muscle that comes up, and it literally looks like a shark fin, right? In the way that they come from the packing plant, right? So the problem is, if you let that stay on the brisket, and some guys do this, but if you let that stay on the brisket, it burns up. Now, the problem is, when you look at this meat that's inside this big fat layer, it looks like a ribeye. It is so beautifully marbled, right? And it's got so much flavor that,
Mm.
we don't like burning it up, and we don't like throwing it away. So we love to collect all that during the week, and that's how we make the burn ends, or have enough material to make plenty of burn ends. Right? Is we save them up all week. We put them in the cubes, right? And then
Yep.
we do them on the pit, about the same way, and that's the same way we do our pork belly. But we'll talk about that in a minute too.
So you save them all up and then you cook them on the day that you're going to serve them.
Right?
Do you serve burn ends every day, or is there a special day for that
No,
too?
no, they're on this. You got me. I didn't bring the. I've always changed the list up often, so it's not something I memorize. Right? Yeah,
Well,
burn ends are a weekend thing.
Okay, we'll get a list out before the end of the video so people are clear on that because I think people are confused. But for the sake of Melanie Hamby, we have to talk about Dino Bones before we go on because she is
Absolutely.
heartily,
No,
heartily voting for Dino
you,
Bones.
you
What
know
the heck is
that's
a Dino Bone?
that is the dino bones are hard to keep in stock. First of all, they're hard to get. So some of the trivia behind dino bones is we pay an exorbitant price just to bring them in the back door. I mean, they're like $9 a pound, right? And it's our bone, okay, right? And it was originally a piece of scrap meat right out of the chuck plate rib cage of the cow. Um, Suddenly, and we used to pay like 98 cents a pound for them, right?
Hmm.
Just a big nothing. And then we started exporting them to China because China takes them on a bandsaw, right? It makes those little riblets kind of
Hmm.
things out of them, and they'll pay any amount of money for them. It doesn't matter, right? You make a big number and they'll pay it. And so what happens is it takes the dino bone and drives the demand up for it super high. It
Hmm.
makes it super expensive, and so they don't like guys like me who want to pay a bargain basement price for it, right? Because they want to ship them all overseas. And so that's one of the reasons why they're kind of erratic is when can I get them, right?
Oh
Because if they're
wow, so
loading up,
they're not
if
always
they're
available. Wow.
yeah, so if they're loading up a cargo container, right, full of cases of ribs, sometimes it's hard for my suppliers to get a box in for me, right? And so it gets to be a little variant. But when we do get them, people absolutely love them, right? They're a novelty, is what they are. They're called the Dino Bone because it's referred to as the old Fred Flintstone commercial when they bring out the rib cage from the Tyrannosaurus, right? If anybody watched Fred Flintstone or the Flintstones as a kid, you know what I'm talking about on the opening. And so therefore it became the Dino Bone. And these things are a 9-inch bone. The bone itself is about an inch and a half wide by 3/4 of an inch thick. So it's a big chunk of the cow's rib cage, but it's got a meat section on it that is so beautifully marbled and so fatty. But the fat is very light in nature. It's not a hard fat; it's a very soft fat. So it carries a tremendous amount of flavor, right? And so you basically make them the same way as you do a brisket, only the timing's different because you're only dealing with a rib instead of a big, thick, chunk of meat, right? Um, people, there's a whole um, culture around just the dino bone, right? We've had, the summertime, we've got um, groups that come in, and they'll come in early on a Saturday morning and they'll buy all of them. And I've had, first of all, I can't even eat one of these. I'm a big fellow, and I don't eat a dino bone very often just because I can't finish it, right? And it's wasteful. But I've got folks that will come in here, and they'll buy two of them, right? And they'll sit right there in the lobby, and I'll watch them. They'll eat both of them, right? you know, and I just cannot believe, right,
Wow.
that a
That's
human
insane.
being just consumed that much meat, but uh,
Yeah.
they're just that good, and the bones are great because if you save your bones, you want to talk about making a broth, right? A lot of people ask me, "Can you save the bones for me?" Because I want to make a broth out of them, right? And so we'll get a half a dozen bones or more, a few more together for the. We just give them away. It doesn't matter. I'd rather give them to somebody that wants them than to throw them away, right? So. But yeah, Dino Bones are certainly a fan favorite. It's a big deal for those who love them, especially Melanie. Melanie is a great customer. She's in there all the time, and she loves her Dino Bones. I'll tell you that for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, she's pretty enthusiastic apparently.
Yep.
So, all right. So, what's the next obvious one? I mean, we can go down the list, but what do you think is the next obvious favorite? I
Fan
mean,
favorite? Um,
probably brisket. I mean, come
yeah,
on.
well, brisket we've talked about a lot. We're known for brisket. We
Yeah.
do basically we do 45 tons of brisket a year, right? and out of this little shop, out of that one little pit. I mean, it's just if you're going to be legit, you've got to start with the brisket, right? Because so
Mhm.
many people are looking for just it made just the right way, right? A lot of people can make brisket. A lot of restaurants try to do brisket. You know, they do the crock pot stuff. They do those kinds of things. But yeah, I mean, when you when you find a pitmaster that really makes it, you know, really soft, melts in your mouth, huge butter flavor, you know, it's completely limp but won't pull apart because you've mastered the ability to you know, to melt the collagen without disconnecting the muscle tissue, right? And that's the difference between like doing it in a crock pot and doing it on a pit is because when you break it apart, it'll like in a crock pot, it becomes stew meat, right? And if you cook it too long, it just completely falls apart. But in a pit, right, you can melt the collagen but leave the connecting material between it. You can see it right there in that picture. You can see the difference, the little areas that make up the muscle, right? And but you see that little black stripe in between them. That's where collagen was, and all that wetness that you see that's that melted collagen, right? And so that's what you're after when you do a brisket, right? In that particular picture, you can see the fat cap on top with the bark built up on it. Um,
Mhm.
to do those things I just described, that takes a lot of time and a lot of hours to practice on what's going on, right? To get that consistent, and then to do it professionally, so that you do 45 tons a year, and for the most part, it's all identical, right? Um, try to do that. That's reason, guys. I guess we try to. You know, we try to tell people, you know, we say this is what you need to do in order to get that to happen, right? So I give those speeches for free, by the way.
On how to do brisket, how to cook brisket properly.
How to cook brisket properly, what's going on, you know, because you've heard, I've done it in here 100 times. Do it again if you want, but you know, it's a there's a lot to know. It's not obvious, and that's what makes it difficult, right?
Yeah. So I think we should just go through here. Melanie's all over the page. She pretty
Yeah,
much just likes all your food. She doesn't even like turkey, but she loves your turkey.
yeah.
And she also
Turkey's
voted for
fine.
brisket and she voted for pulled pork. So
Yeah,
Judy McGee focused right in on Dino ribs with beans and
yeah,
banana pudding. She knows
yeah,
exactly how she likes it. Looks like we have a vote from
yeah.
Carrie for best brisket. Oh, another vote for brisket. Garrett
Very
Abney. So yeah,
perfect.
people are having
Yeah.
opinions here. This is good. This is good. You
So
have to pick. You can't tell us. You got to pick one. So see if you can
yeah.
do it.
So to this question, it's not on my menu if it's not my favorite. Okay,
All
that's the
right.
secret to my menu. They're all my favorites, and I eat them every day. One or oh, that's with my rib bones, my pork ribs. That's what I eat when I'm watching football. You know, when I'm sitting at the table and it's lunchtime and the games are starting. You know, college games, pro games. You know, I'll have the guys cut me three or four ribs that look like that, and that's what it is, right? A lot of times I'll just do ribs and a coke, right? And that's one of my favorites. But my brisket's favorite, and my pulled pork. You know, when I'm in for a busy, I need something to carry me through the day, right? And I'm hungry, and I don't want to eat a whole lot, but I want it to really fill me up and hold me over. That pork sandwich is perfect for that, you know. And you know, the turkey when I'm when I've got the time, yeah, the turkey slices. That with I do that on a bun with my cheddar cheese and mustard, and you know, it just and that smoke flavor comes out and it mixes in with that cheddar cheese. It's so awesome. I can just do this all day long. But if you really want to talk about fan favorites, we can't ignore the whole section of the menu that's called fan favorites. Okay, now the thing you got to understand, where you know, Gary, where do you get these ideas? This is carnival food, right? So when we're out doing event catering, or different types of event catering, like when I was at the racetrack that we talked about that one time, you know, what was I feeding those guys, right? And so that's where things like the mac and meat, right, that you see right there, mixing up mac and cheese, um, you know, that's just a staple of doing the doing because what you're trying to do out in those worlds is you're trying to get a complete meal in a bowl, right? That's what you want, and you want people to feel satisfied that they got all the things they were looking for, but at the same time, you're not trying to have a full tray of meat and get the meat sweats. You just want the flavors, right? And you want it to be good. And so when you look at the barbecue boat there, where we split the sausage like a banana, right? And we put pork, potato salad, and beans in there all in one meal. That there is no other perfect meal, right? That you can get for for the $12, right? And it's heavy. That thing is at least a pound and a half. I don't know what it really weighs, so don't quote me on that. But when you pick that burrito bowl up and you feel it, you're going, man, that's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And people that they come in here every day to eat one of those, right? It's just their thing.
Yeah, they're crazy fanatics. That's what they are.
And while you're there, you want to talk about another fan favorite. There's a whole cult around the banana pudding that you had showed up right there, and all the classic things that go on. Now, here's some trivia about the banana pudding. Now, I use banana pudding to make it, right? The thing you can go to the grocery store over here and buy, banana pudding. But the real way in the South that many people make banana pudding is with vanilla pudding, right? And then they use the bananas themselves and the cookie, right, to do it. So I like just getting the flavor out there. So it's easy, cheap, and easy for me to just go with the banana pudding to start with, put the fresh banana in it, and the cookie. Now the other part about the Southern banana pudding is there's a huge debate around it. Okay, and people
vanilla versus banana, or wafers versus no wafers.
No, it's the wafer in the banana pudding or wafer out of the banana pudding. Some people like the banana pudding to make the cookie soft, cake-like, right? Which is what I like, so that's why we do it, right? But others will absolutely say that you just ruined it. The cookie has to be separate, so the cookie is crunchy, right? So in some barbecue joints, you'll see the cookie on top of the lid in a separate kind of thing, so that it can be crunchy, right? And then in my world, I put the cookie in because I like it to be cakey when I eat it. So, well, but
wow.
There's an absolute cult around the banana pudding.
I don't know where you come up with this stuff. Okay, so do we hit all the meats? Let's make sure we hit all the meats. So you got pork ribs, you got brisket. Definitely talked about that one.
Yeah.
Pork bellies. What is with pork bellies?
Oh, pork belly is so. Don't those look good right there? They'll just make you hungry looking at them. So pork belly is exactly what it is. It's the same cut of meat off the belly of the pig that you make bacon out of. Okay, the difference is it hasn't been cured. It's still just the belly muscle, right? It comes in from below the rib. So if you know where my St. Louis ribs, okay, that's the bottom of the rib cage, and then going across the belly between the two rib cages is this muscle area, and that's where it comes from. And so rather than a lot of the baking manufacturer people, they take these things and they go cure them and smoke them and do all these kinds of things, and that's how you get bacon in the store. What we do is we take that muscle and we cube it up, right? And it's really fatty because it's bacon is really what it is.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
So we take it's a big rectangle belly, right? It's I don't know what it is. It's 2 feet long and about 1 foot wide, and it's about I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to find the camera here. It's about that thick, about 1.5 inches thick, right? And it's just a flat piece, been a rectangle the way they make it. And now we take that and we cut it into probably 2-inch cubes, right? Just cubes, and then we put a little spice on it, and we smoke it, and we smoke it till it gets smoked all the way through, right? And then we come back and we put it in a pan, and we just cover it with butter, right? I mean, we do so much butter, and we render it, right, to get it soft in that butter, right? And so now we picked up a whole nother layer of flavor with them. Okay, and then once we get all that done and they're nice and super soft and everything, that's when we come back in and we put the brown sugar and the mango habanero, glazes on it, and those kinds of things, and then cook them a little longer, and they come out to be this very candied, high fat, um, high fat pork, type of treat, right? Really, really rich, right? And again, there are those who the only reason they come here is to get pork belly, right? And so they watch our specials. They know what days we're going to do it, and we've literally had people come in the morning because they're going to have a party, or it's going to be they're going out to the golf course or whatever, and these folks will come in and they'll just go, I want all of it, and we're a first come first serve place, right? And so we sell it, and then the other people will come in a couple hours later and go, what do you mean you don't have any? And I'm going, the fellow in front, he bought everything we had, so here we go, we'll make more next time.
Yeah. So what's the difference between a pork belly and pork candy?
I don't
I
know.
don't know if we have a picture on the side of pork candy. What is pork candy?
I do not know. It's not in my vocabulary to call it candy. It could very well be the same thing, but I've never looked.
Different ways
I've never
people talk
looked it up.
about it. Yeah.
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 Because this is candied. It's got a candy glaze on it, but I don't call it candy. I call it pork belly because that's what it is.
Got it. So what about your turkey? What makes it? How do you prepare your turkey? I know it's smoked.
Yep. So the way this goes in, it's very lightly peppered, right? When it goes into to the pit, it stays there 4 or 5 hours, gets really it's really smoked. So then we take these very large breasts that we get. We order them special. We put it in that aluminum pan that you see, and then we put maybe 2 pounds of butter in there with it. Okay. And so what's happening when we do the render on these, meaning turn it soft, right? We're infusing a lot of butter in it, right? And we're leaving it in a butter sauce. And we've actually had people love that sauce. They want that sauce out of the pan, right? But even when we're sitting in hot holding waiting on customers, we leave it in the butter sauce, right? So that it never has a chance to dry. And that's one of the reasons why it's so moist.
Got it. Yep.
It's because we've got so much butter with it, and there's no other flavor other than the smoke and a little bit of pepper on it, right? And that's it. It's just got that really moist butter flavor to it, and like I said, there are folks that just absolutely love it. We do so many hundreds of pounds. I don't remember what it is, but at Thanksgiving, we've really got a huge following of people that come in and order these breasts, just these breasts, and they've started doing that for their Thanksgiving dinner rather than trying to do the traditional whole turkey. Right?
Yeah, it's the best of the turkey. It's moist. If you like that kind of meat, and which most do, it's that moist, yummy meat. So, okay. So, how about sausage?
Sausage is one of my favorites. Yeah. So yeah, we carry two. It's a beef sausage, kind of broadish, and then we have a jalapeno cheddar, and we're experimenting around with those. But sausage is one of my favorites because one of my other quick lunches that I like to do is I like to dice these up, and not dice them really, but I'll turn them into medallions, right? And then I'll eat them straight with just mustard, a little dipping mustard on the side, and that's fun because you can have brown mustards and hot mustards and different other things, and that's a kind of a fun way to do it. But my real favorite way to do it is I medallion them, and then I put them in with mac and cheese, and so I have a mac and meat with sausage, and that's another meal that will, if you eat it at 11 o'clock, you're not hungry again until 6-7 o'clock because it just hangs with you.
Yeah, I bet. Wow, we're getting some good tips. We should have asked you this way sooner. This is good information. How Gary eats his barbecue. There's some good tips here. Okay, so what's this here?
Which one? That's pulled pork sandwich. We covered that one already.
Well, you can get pulled pork on mac, on salad, on a sandwich. You can eat it all different ways.
We didn't talk about salads yet. That's a cool one. That one, the salads and the jackfruit. So, many people know that even though I'm a super duper ooper meat guy, right? I'm respectful because there are those who don't want to eat meat. And so I said, people that don't like to eat meat should be able to come and enjoy a barbecue joint the same as anybody else, right?
Mhm.
And so we make, and you're looking for it, I know.
You know what,
Uh,
Gary? I don't know if we have a picture of your salad on your menu. That makes no sense
well,
to me.
look, to give you an idea, it looks just like pulled pork. So,
Yeah.
uh, so what it is, if you've ever, you can look up on the internet, you can look up jackfruit. It's a big spiny melon looking kind of thing,
Oh, well, that
and
we have right here. Yeah.
here you go. We'll get a better picture of that. But it's the interesting thing. The young, that's important to say. The young jackfruit, not the mature jackfruit, but the young jackfruit has when you split it open, it has a meat, inside of a fruit. It's also called meat. It's got an inside that looks very much like pulled pork when you take it out of the skin, right? And it pulls like pork, but it's not pork. It's just the stringiness of this particular fruit. And so we take that fruit and we put it in a skillet with some spices and with our sauce and some other things. And we make a vegetarian pulled pork out of it, right? And that way, because one of the things that our customers that are vegetarian will tell you is they get so tired of doing salads and they get so tired of doing the mac and cheese and you know and these kind of things because a lot of people don't try to put something out there for the vegetarians. We want a full flavored offering is what we wanted for our vegetarian friends, right? So now you can come in, have a beer, have a sandwich, just like your friends are doing, except for you can rest assured that it's vegetarian and not meat based, right? So
That's very
so
kind of you to have compassion on your non-meat friends.
there you go.
That's
And what was the other one?
beautiful, Gary.
Oh, the salads. The salads I got to talk about. I love the salads. So the most common one that we do is we take our smoked chicken, right? Because that chicken is you guys have all had it. Y'all know that's got that really rich barbecue flavor to it. And we take that and we put that over a Caesar salad bed for our smoked chicken Caesar. And you want to talk about another thing that's really great for lunch, and particularly if you want to get light on your feet, because it's not so filling as a lot of our other offerings are, right? And you kind of feel better about yourself because you at least got some green in you, right? Now most barbecue guys don't care about that, but but
I feel
some
better
do,
just talking about it.
right? But the one that's the sleeper that people try later, right? Because they've been through the menu and they go, oh, I've never tried it, I'll try one. Is the brisket gorgonzola. Okay, so this is where we take and basically pull and dice the brisket up, right, so that it's in smaller format, and we put that over a bed, a 50-50 bed, or a spring mix bed with gorgonzola dressing, right? And if you stop and think about it, that gorgonzola flavor with the sharpness of the gorgonzola, it kind of interacts with the pepper and salt of the bark on the brisket, and it gives you a heavier flavor on your palate because it's got all the beef fats in there, right? And so but yet you're getting this plethora of different flavors: the salt, the pepper, the gorgonzola sharpness, along with the textures of the lettuces, right, that are in there, and the romaines and the spinach leaf and so on. And so, man, it makes me hungry to think about. I may go have
I
one here
know,
in a
you're
minute.
making me hungry. I'm trying to find a picture of the salad, and unfortunately, I'm not finding it. But we're going to get it up on the site so you guys who are watching here today can see what that looks like, and also some close up of the jackfruit as well. So I didn't see any other favorites come in here. I didn't hear from any vegans, but I know they're out there because I know you guys sell that product. And we didn't get any votes on puddings, wafers in versus out. So I'm going to be posting that on Facebook, trying to get some good
Yeah.
hard data there.
Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about? It? I'm trying to think. You have special days for certain things. You have Taco Tuesdays.
Oh
You have
yeah. So we have the Taco
about
Tuesday.
those. Yep.
Yeah, that's a recent addition. Our store manager came up with those, and he says, "Hey, everybody else does Taco Tuesday. Why shouldn't we?" So he hand makes the salsa that goes on them, He goes over and buys fresh ingredients every Tuesday, and
Mhm.
sits back there and chops and dices it all up and makes that. And then um, we have the just the small, you can get 2 or 3 tacos, whatever it is, on a Tuesday. So if you're looking for a light lunch that's got a real flavorful, pack to it, we use our brisket most of the time, or pulled pork if you ask for it, and we have our sauces and things. And so, really a great taco. Then on Wednesday we do Wing Wednesday, right? So what we're doing now with the wings is. We will come in and we will smoke the wings, right? So first thing in the morning with the briskets, we put an entire case, a 40-pound case of wings, in the smoker, right, and smoke them through, right, and but they're not done yet. So then um, we render them a little bit, and then we hold them so that when you order them, okay, the guys will then take them. They'll go back in the fryer, okay, and they'll fry them for a little bit to finish them off, right, and then we will toss them in a combination of our sauce, okay, with a little bit of onion and some things, and oh my god, they're so good. They're so delectable that it's they keep me away from them because I'll eat them all before the door opens, right, when I
Yeah,
get
I
home.
haven't been there yet for those. I need to come try those for sure.
Yeah, Mel,
So,
if my if Melanie's still on, she'll or Mel's still on, she'll tell you all about them. Right? I think
so
in
what
Maryland,
about sorry.
that's right.
What about Friday and Saturday?
Friday and Saturday. Oh, there's one other special we don't talk about very much that I really wanted to get out in this talk about. And so, if you remember, I did the barbecue crawl last July, and my pit boss Trevor back there, he went with me, and I took him down. I introduced him to some of the great pit masters of Central Texas, right, and we had a great time. But he he learned that there is a second beef rib. We call it the beef back rib, as opposed to the dino bone we talked about earlier. Okay, so this looks more like a pork rib, but it's just bigger, right? And so he makes those on Saturday for people. So if you want that beef flavor, but you don't want to try to deal with that big, that great big bone, because some people don't like dealing with that really super rich meat, getting meat sweats every time. We make the beef back rib as a special. I think it's on Saturday. I'll have to get you the. I sent you the picture that one time of the list, right? But I don't have it handy.
Yeah, and Fridays is pork bellies.
Yeah. So it's probably Saturday that he does them. I just know it's in the end of the week. So um, yeah, and so there's the beef back rib, and there's a following on those as well, right? And because those it's like my niece Holly, right? She loves the beef back rib, right? Because they're not as peppery, and it's really about more smoke and more meat, right? And but yet you do the same texture as the pork rib, where you try to make it fall off the bone, that kind of thing.
Well, there they all are. So whether you go Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, remember you can order those special meats. And then every day of the week you have turkey, brisket, sausage, chicken,
Right?
jackfruit,
Yeah.
pulled pork, pork ribs, all the
What
others.
more can you say? What more do you need? Right?
What more do you need in your life but barbecue to you? You should go down there tonight and order a whole bunch. Order it for your whole family.
Right?
So I'm asking Gary to come up with some kind of a special for families for the wintertime, and Gary hasn't told me what it is yet, but he's thinking on that. He's going to offer some
Oh,
amazing deal to you families out there trying to feed all your kids and give mom a night off from cooking or dad a night off from cooking. So next time we talk, you're going to hear some kind of a special for families from Gary. We'll see what that might
maybe.
be. Maybe you will. How about a
Right?
family tray? A family tray that has a particularly good deal on something. Not sure what
You're,
that
you're
might be.
you're not talking about a tray. You're talking about a family pack.
There you go. Or family pack of meat. That's right.
Family pack. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, I'll ponder on it.
All right.
We do have some menu stuff coming up here. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but we do have inflation still running pretty rampant in the food industry, regardless of what you hear on the TV. So again, I'll tell the world up front. pretty soon we're going to do adjustments, our yearly adjustments, right? So please don't yell at me. It's not me doing it. It's just the way that this environment works, right? So there's that going on. So then on a finer note, I don't want to forget, because we've been running long today, but I don't want to forget about philanthropy, right? So one of the things I wanted to bring up today was we have a wonderful young lady that's in here from she's got restricted hours because she's 14 years old. The author of this book is 14 years old. So her parents come with her and stay with her, right, during the time. So, but her name is Ashley Carmen, and she is a fabulous person. You've got to come talk to her. It's such an interesting thing. I meant to go grab her book so I could show it to you. But it's, I believe it's called Magpie out there. But, it's so inspiring to do, to have the, somebody that's a 14-year-old author, because so many of our guys or guys and gals are retired, and the third act is their authoring, because they've had professional lives and things, but to have somebody that's just coming out of the chute, and already being successful in the industry, it's just an amazing thing, and I encourage everybody to come meet her and talk to her this week if you can.
Wow, that's amazing to have a book written by the time you're 14.
Yeah, she's almost got her second one done.
That's inspiring. Right? Okay, how about this? Is this accurate for January happenings? Author
coming events? Yeah, we've got all that kind of stuff going on. Deborah's paint classes first Wednesday. She's got a really cool picture out there. You see it in line, so you get all month. You get to see what she's going to do next. I highly encourage that. Those folks have so much fun, right? Doing that paint class, it's amazing. Tuesday senior bingo is still out there. It's outstanding. Senior movie day this month for January is special. We have arranged to have a speaker who is a certified authority over the Titanic. And so he's going to come to the theater, is what we're attempting to do. I'll tell you next time if it worked or not. But he's going to give he's going to give an hour presentation about the ins and outs of the Titanic and all these kinds of things, just like you would see at a museum. We'll give the patrons a little bit of a break, and then we're going to play the 1958 version of A Night to Remember, right, which is the original movie about the Titanic. And so to give you an idea, to find the speaker is one thing, but to find a 1958 movie on Blu-ray so it can play over at the Galaxy Theater, that's yet a challenge all in itself, right? But we've been able to accomplish all that so far, and hopefully we'll have that all set up. So we have the vouchers here at the store. They're going quick. So if anybody's interested in that, I would get one of the vouchers quickly, because that's going to be a big event for us. And we thought that'd be a lot of fun. Kind of take it up a notch for 2024,
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot going on. Impressive. I love the speaker idea. Very fun. Well, I don't see any more questions. I have a lot. I think that we've discovered a true fan in, is it Melanie? She's all over here. Melanie Hamby. Thank you for participating today, Melanie. We think that you should go say hi to Gary and get free French fries or something just for your participation today. And then thank you also, Judy, for participating, and Jennifer Hedge also voted. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah, you can still email Gary and tell him what your favorites are, gparker@texasbbq2.com. Otherwise, this is Jennifer Noreen and Gary Parker, and we will see you next month. It's good to chat with all of you today.
See you guys.